Welcome to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello, and welcome back to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where we talk about our emotions, all while baking something yummy in the hopes of baking it out together. Thank you for joining. On this next episode, we're going to be making some pumpkin bread. 'Tis the season, and talking about parenting as an emotion. And I don't know how many of you who listen are parents or in that season, but to parent is to have all the emotions. I am feeling it especially today, and I felt like we should just chat about it. Okay, so this recipe comes from moi. This is the one I use for my pumpkin muffins, and we're going to not alter the recipe too much except for like what we add in it, in terms of like, usually for my pumpkin muffins I do chocolate chips. This one, because I'm doing pumpkin bread, I'm thinking I might change it up to maybe like white chocolate chips and maybe like a topping on it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how I'm thinking or how I'm feeling about it. So again, this recipe I had done a little while back, favorite bowl, and the recipe is, now it's not totally mine. It is a one it's from 10 years ago. It was a recipe from, I believe it's The Joy of Vegan Baking. I think it was, but it was given to me by a friend just on a piece of paper. And I think if you remember my story from last time, I altered it by mistake. I wasn't even paying attention to the recipe, and I ended up altering the recipe. And when I would give the recipe away to people, they would say, it's not like yours that you made. It's not like that one. And I would look at the recipe and I would say, what did I do? What did I do differently? And finally I figured out what I did. And that is that I add the whole can of pumpkin. So I bought just a can of pumpkin, pure pumpkin. And instead of a cup of pumpkin that it says on the recipe, the original recipe, I put the entire can. So that is one of the biggest differences of my recipes. So yeah. So we're going to start with the can of pumpkin, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting our other ingredients in. Okay, so parenting as an emotion. This morning, and I am going to throw my little under the bus, but you know, sometimes I don't even understand at times, and maybe I need some help from my parenting friends, because I don't know what to do. So I have 2 older children and 1 youngest, and I know it might, okay, so just to go back to the recipe, I know it might seem like a lot of fruit. We've got the pumpkin, and then I'm putting applesauce. The recipe calls for, actually the recipe doesn't call for applesauce. Let me rephrase. The recipe calls for, because this was a recipe, remember, that I doctored. So the original recipe said, and that's I think where some people were also like, Heather, mine doesn't taste like yours. The original recipe has flaxseed and water as the binder. And at the time, I just didn't have any, so I used applesauce as my binder. And the good thing about applesauce is, number one, it just adds I feel like it adds this wonderful flavor. It's not too much of a flavor, but it just adds this fallness, I feel, to it a little bit more. And it doesn't alter the color, so it makes the pumpkin stay that beautiful orange, so your muffins are beautiful in terms of color. Now flaxseed, it can, and when you mix it, like ground flaxseed, and when you mix it with water, it kind of can turn brown, so it can kind of make your muffins look a little darker in color. It's not going to change it like drastic, but it's not going to look as vibrant as you got this beautiful orange. So anywho, so I have a youngest who is 9 going on 18. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he has 2 older siblings, and it's very hard to, you know, I get it. I get it when you have 2 older siblings and you're the youngest and there's a huge gap. So he's 9 and his next oldest sibling is 17. It's a big gap. And when they were little, it was, you know, it was fine. And I think right now is a really tough age because they do kind of like similar things. They do like playing video games, all 3 of them, and they do like a lot of other things, like they like Pokemon, all of them, and they do like a lot of things together, but they all choose to do them differently, and whatever it is, their hobbies, and it can get kind of a push and pull and a little chaotic and hectic sometimes because of that, and because my little is not mature enough yet to do some things that, you know, my older kids do. And, you know, we kind of limit, you know, he has to go to bed at a good time. He can't stay up. Obviously, my bigger kids stay up because either they have homework or things like that, but he just can't understand why he has limits and they don't. And I try to tell him that how do I put it? That they did have these limits when they were his age. It's just that he's now experiencing, you know, like, you guys are different ages. Like, you're not the same age. That's hard. That's a hard one in itself. All right, I need to put my sugar in here. Let me find it. Where is it? Aha, here we go. Yes, this recipe has a lot of sugar. A cup of sugar is quite a bit, but hey. So this one, so I'm gonna do a loaf of bread, and then the rest I'm just gonna make into, because it's gonna make a lot, I'm gonna make into just some muffins. I might only have like 6 muffins afterwards, so yeah. All right, so these are kind of the wet ingredients. We've got the oil, the vanilla, the applesauce, the pumpkin, and the sugar in here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put all of my dry ingredients into a sifter and sift them into here because we don't want to hear that. Okay, hold on. All right, I've sifted my flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt into here, and I'm just gonna mix it up. And yeah, we're gonna figure out, I think white chocolate would be good for the bread. I do, you know, I like a crumb top, so I'm still debating whether to do a crumb top. I'm actually really tired today, so we'll see if I have the energy to do that. All right, so today, and this is how I emotionally bake. I'm emotional about something, and I start baking, and I want to bake, and it's just so funny how sometimes, like, exactly what I'm feeling and wanting to bake just collides into its, you know, it's just like perfect timing. Because today I literally had a parenting thing today, and I was like, I have to go home and bake because I'm feeling so overwhelmed, and this helps me, and talking about it helps me. So yeah, so here we are. So the parenting thing, so as I was discussing before, the parenting thing that I had was initially it was a little frustrating what I was discussing, but let me talk to you about some more. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the batter in the pan and mix some of these white chocolate chips in it. So yeah, so the parenting thing happened this morning, and I know all kids go through a stage of not telling the truth, or, they're too scared to tell the truth because then they don't want to get in trouble, or they, skirt around the truth, and things like that. And we've been teaching kids to tell the truth since 20 years ago when I first had my daughter. So it's been, the learning process for a long time. And for all of us, for everybody. But my little at the moment is really testing boundaries. And today he, was playing this morning before school, and I just knew in my mama heart, I knew that he hadn't eaten breakfast. And to me not only because breakfast is my favorite meal, but to me, breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. And he doesn't eat lunch at school until like 12:30. So I really want him to, have a good, be healtzy and to, have sustenance throughout his morning so that he can get through all of his core stuff is in the morning, his math and reading, all that stuff. So I want him to get all that done. And I just knew in my mom gut that he hadn't eaten breakfast this morning. And obviously I'm not stupid. There's no dishes in the dishwasher, or there was, but I put them in there. And I remembered because I just emptied the dishwasher and cleaned it, and there was nothing in the sink and nothing out. So I knew, and we have the mom, what is it called? The mom's sixth sense, like we just know. And so, yeah. And I gave him so many ample opportunities to tell me the truth. Did you eat breakfast? Did you eat breakfast? Did you eat breakfast? And he just, he was sticking to it. He was sticking to his, I did. I ate breakfast. And it wasn't until I threatened to take away like electronics or take away, things that he liked, that he finally caved. And it was a good 10 minutes before he finally caved and said, okay, fine, I didn't eat breakfast, and it just broke me this morning, and I got him to eat, and it was fine. And we jumped that hurdle. We did it. But after a few minutes, I was crying. I felt this, I feel, this literally just happened a couple hours ago. Like, I just feel so defeated sometimes when I'm parenting. I feel like, why would we sacrifice our health, or, eating breakfast or lying about it? Dude, I'm hungry in the morning. I wake up, I'm hungry. Like, why would we sacrifice, playing and lying about it? And I kept saying, but aren't you hungry? Like, aren't you hungry? And I get it. Kids are, and I get it. If you're a parent, if you're going through that season in life, and there are things like this that you're dealing with as well, like, it's hard. It's hard to manage sometimes. It's hard to know if you're doing it right, if you're saying the right thing, if you're coming across at the level that they need to hear the information. You want to make sure that you're, because he is 9, and I want to make sure that I'm explaining things to him in the appropriate way, because I would explain things obviously differently to my adult child or my teenager, or, oh my goodness. And this morning it just left me in an emotional wreck and emotional tears. Like, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing something right. Like, why does my kid feel this way? That he just wants to deny self and just, play. And not think about what he should do. I mean, granted, this is the first time it's happened that I can recall. I think, I hope. But it just made me feel very defeated as a parent. Okay, well, I stuck that in the oven. I went ahead and just left it as pumpkin bread with the white chocolate in it. I think that'll be good. I think it'll be a yummy little breakfast for the family. And yeah. So, and I have to remind myself, and I want to remind y'all, if you were in that parenting season, that we take the ebbs and flows as they go. You know, there's ups and downs, and we take our wins and we take our losses, and we, you know, we keep on keeping on. Sometimes, yeah, things are hard, and that's okay. And I'm reminding myself of that as well, because I'm just coming off of this situation with my son and crying about it, and it's very fresh, and I have to remind myself that as well. I have to remind myself that we're doing our best, we're doing the best we can, and that's what we can do. So okay, friends, we will show a picture of the bread at the end. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know this was a different topic, kind of a fine line of whether it's an emotion or not. I think parenting can be an emotion because it comes with a whole bunch of things. It comes with a whole bunch of emotions together. It's not just, parenting can be just a whole mix of things we're feeling. We do have joy and pride and happiness when we're parenting, but there can also be these struggles of, what am I doing, and did I do it right, and the guilt and the discouraging feelings of, well, I've taught them this, and are they learning this, and am I doing it right? All the things. It can be all of the things. It can be the good and the bad. That's why I'm saying the ebbing and the flowing of parenting. We just got to take a deep breath. We're doing it. It's every day. We're doing the best we can. Okay, friends. So whether the salt in your recipe comes from tears or a teaspoon, literally today, it was tears. Just remember, we baked it out. All right, see you next time.